Absolutely. And when you look at Atlanta and ATL in general, over the next decade, this is one of the hot spots that you want to be in. You got 30 of the Fortune 1000 companies based here. Recently, Microsoft started building their 90-acre campus out here. Nike put their tech hub here. During the pandemic, Airbnb put their East Coast headquarters here. There's just a lot going on for the Metro of Atlanta. There's a diversity of industries here and diversity of employment.
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hey folks, welcome back to the show. Today's guest, Niyi Adewole, is an investor agent with eXp in Atlanta, and he's active across short-term rentals, long-term rentals, and rental management. Niyi, welcome to the show.
Dylan, I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
It's great to have you on here, and I typically like to start off at the top of the show by asking folks how they got started in real estate as a whole, but you're involved in so many different areas of real estate, different segments. I want to ask you specifically how you got started as an investor agent.
Man, so getting started as an investor agent started by first being an investor, right? I've been an investor for about a decade, and that started back in 2015 when I listened to a small podcast called Bigger Pockets and kind of was off to the races from there. I invested in real estate while I was in my medical device sales career for about 7 years. And in that time frame, I was able to move from, hey, I don't know what I'm doing, to, hey, I'm starting to get proficient, to, hey, I actually really like this, and I'm starting to see the returns come back. And I was able to move out of the W-2 into full-time real estate. And that's when I became the investor agent roughly 4 years ago.
Now, I consider myself an investor-friendly agent licensed in Texas. When I got into the business, it was coming from the background of being a wholesaler, working with distressed sellers and buyers who were looking for flips. Your day-to-day as a realtor, are you looking for, let me find, investors who are looking for single family, multifamily? Is there one specific avatar, or is it a mix of multiple different segments?
Yeah, so you can niche down a lot of different ways as an investor-friendly realtor. There's some teams that are like, hey, we only do short-term rentals. Other teams where we only do large multifamily. We focused on the residential, right? And so that's anything up to a quadplex, even going a little bit into the smaller, large multifamily, like up to 20 units we've been able to help people, and coming down to long-term rental, short-term rental, mid-term rental. And so we do across the board, because that's literally what I invest in, is across the board from those different avenues, depending on what deal it looks like.
Now, I want to get a little bit granular talking about Atlanta, because I've noticed it does seem to me that there's a lot of interest across the country in that duplex, triplex, quadplex, that small multifamily space, right? And when we talk about that, I've noticed specifically in Atlanta that there's increased interest. I've had people from Atlanta reach out to me on my posts in Texas asking me, hey, could I find them something similar in Atlanta? Are you seeing that trend as well, that there's a lot of interest in this segment?
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
Absolutely. And when you look at Atlanta and ATL in general, over the next decade, this is one of the hot spots that you want to be in. You got 30 of the Fortune 1000 companies based here. Recently, Microsoft started building their 90-acre campus out here. Nike put their tech hub here. During the pandemic, Airbnb put their East Coast headquarters here. There's just a lot going on for the Metro of Atlanta. There's a diversity of industries here and diversity of employment. And it allows you to, when you look at the greater picture and you start to zoom out and say, hey, where do I want to be over the next decade? That's going to be kind of rock solid. This is an awesome area.
Now, I know that in your personal portfolio, you've got some short term, you've got some long term. Do you have a preference when you're looking at acquisitions? Airbnb short term versus something on a year to year lease.
Yeah. So my general philosophy is if I can make it work as a long-term rental and I like the property, I like the area, I'm going to go long-term rental. That's plug and play. You can just set it and forget it. I've got all the systems in place to make it happen. That being said, I've tended to do at least one short-term rental personally per year because you got to take advantage of this 100% bonus depreciation. And as a realtor or a 1099, or even if you're somebody that's working a W-2, if you buy one short-term rental per year and you do a cost segregation bonus depreciation on it, my goodness, you can save a lot on your taxes. And so that was part of the reason I started getting into short-term rentals. And then I found I had a knack for it and kind of built it out. But if you look at my career, I started off the first 5 years of my investing was all long-term, small multifamily investments, duplex to quadplex. And then I moved into a house hack where I used the bottom unit as a short-term rental to try it out. And then I built out this whole portfolio of short-term rentals and short-term rental management company, and now have leaned fully into that.
Do you have any feedback for folks who may be getting into the short term rental space? Because it's a different animal than long term rentals.
Absolutely. If you're going to get in, you cannot have the cookie cutter listing that everybody had back in, 2020. You either have to go luxury with it, right? And it doesn't have to be a crazy expense. It's just putting some time and energy into it, hiring a designer to come in and really make sure the whole feng shui is on when it comes to looking at the pictures of that property so that you're not competing on hey, price, and you're also competing on just that experience. Otherwise, you get stuck competing on price. And also, you want to try to differentiate the property itself. And so if we're doing the analysis with you and we see a whole bunch of 3-bed, 2-baths and a whole bunch of 2-bed, 2-baths, you want to either go bigger or go smaller and unique, right? And so we've been able to help a lot of our clients kind of navigate those waters, but it's all about running the numbers. Airbnb, although, or in short-term rentals, although it's a little bit different from long-term rentals and hasn't been around as long as long-term rentals, there's still ways to run the numbers pretty accurately to what you will pull in if we get it set up correctly.
Now, I want to talk acquisitions. I come from off market distressed seller acquisitions. As realtors, we have access to on market as well. In working with investors, I've noticed that sometimes, especially when there's no pre-existing relationship, you've got to really demonstrate value and why they would need a realtor in the first place when they could go and do their own acquisitions, or at least they think they can in many cases. How do you go about breaching these conversations with newer investors or established investors who may be new to you?
Sure. We just all about the process, right? We have a proven process of having success with our clients as well as personally. And that's how we go about finding deals. And we just walk every single potential client through that process. Doesn't matter if this is your first property or if this is your 100th property. The first thing is just a initial conversation, kind of like what we're having right now, 15 minutes to talk through, hey, what are some of your goals? What is your past experience? What are you looking for? What are you looking to achieve over the next couple of years with this? Then we set up a 30-minute buyer consultation where we will hop on a Zoom call to walk through the whole buying process and more specifically what it looks like when we run the numbers so that when we send you a deal, it's not like, hey, did they pull this out of a hat? It's like, no, you can reverse engineer how we got there. At that juncture, is a place where we tend to get a little bit of friction from somebody who's buying a lot of deals. They're like, no, just send me something. I'm like, listen, guys, I hear you, but if you can't spend 30 minutes for us to build this relationship and actually understand each other and become sniper accurate as to what we're looking for and not just a shotgun approach, we're sending you a million properties, we don't want to work with you either. And so it's one where you have to set your standard, make sure that you have a process and follow that process to a T to get success. The big companies that are not real estate related, this is exactly how they achieve success over and over again. And so we have achieved success personally. Most of my team are investors and actually were clients that went and got their license and joined my team after we helped them buy investments. And so that's kind of how we weed it out, is by going through that process. And if somebody missteps during that process, just says, hey, I don't want to do this, just send me deals, we're not going to send you deals and we just won't work together.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency. It's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
This conversation that we're having right now is the first time that I've spoken with an investor agent who's broken down this idea of, how to engage clients in the investor world. Because to your point, you often get a little bit of friction, like, just send me some properties to look at. And you have to push back on that. I mean, if you just send them properties, then they could borderline do that themselves through like an email subscription to someone who's going to be, sending them blast properties whenever. So how do you differentiate? If we can dive in a little bit more into this without giving away all the gold here, Niyi, when folks are coming to you, let's say they're specifically looking for quadplexes in Atlanta, how granular will you get with them? Will you say like neighborhoods? Will you say price points? Will you say what comfortable of flip are you, or rehab are you comfortable with? How granular are you getting with folks?
Pretty granular, because again, we want to take that sniper approach versus the shotgun. What I found over time is that if you leave it vague, then they can come back and start to change up a lot of the metrics over time. But if you get super focused, it makes it a little easier. If we find that type of property and you're still like, I got a gut feeling and things of that nature, we can dive in and fine tune our search so that we can find you the property. And so, for example, right, you just gave me the quadplex example. Somebody's looking for a quadplex. One of the first things that we would do in that 15-minute call is ask them, have you been pre-approved? Right? Some people are going to say, oh, well, I can get pre-approved when we find a deal. Listen, I hear you on that, but I need you to go get pre-approved now before we have that buyer consult, right? Just talk to a lender. If you need one, we have an investor-friendly lender. He does it in all 50 states, and I'll connect them with them. And they're usually able to get that before our call. So now we know the price range that they can go up to. And so on that call, I'm already going to have identified at least 3 or 4 potential deals, maybe some off market as well, because we're constantly out in the field. And so we hear about deals coming. And during that call, we walk through the whole process. We walk through how we run the numbers on properties just to make sure it aligns with their expectations. Hey, this is what you can expect. What are your goals? What is your why? And why do you want to do this as your next property? And then we actually pull up examples, and potentially at times we're putting offers on those properties within 48 hours after showing it to them on that buyer consult, because now you've built up that know, like, and trust factor. They understand how we operate, and it helps us fine tune. Right? Because when we show them these properties, somebody could say, hey, I'm looking for a cosmetic rehab. Or somebody could say, hey, I'm good with everything except fire damage. But then you show them a property on that call, right? And it's like, hey, guys, check this out. Like, look at this, da, 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 da. And they're like, nah, I actually don't like that. And I dig into the why. It's never and I teach my team this. If somebody texts you or says a message like, I don't really like that property, you spent how much time looking at this property and running all these numbers to get it over to them, and you're going to let a 10-second text tell you what you need to know? You need to get on the phone with that person and ask questions. Hey, okay, why? Was there something about this? Was it the neighborhood? Was it that? So that you can fine tune, and the next one you send to them will be even closer to the target.
I want to ask you specifically, what are investor agents doing wrong? And we talked about maybe being too general, and I think that's a very common mistake. Is there any other feedback you would give to agents? Hey, stop doing this because this is preventing you from, getting more clients.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
Yeah, I would say you really got to protect your time and value yourself, which is hard to do as a newer agent working with investors. And so there's plenty of groups and plenty of investors that will send out a million texts. Hey, here goes my buy box. Just send me something when you find it. And an agent who's not necessarily tied to that person, this is a guy who's working with a bunch of different people, you haven't had a real conversation with them, is going to go off and start trying to find all these deals and send it to them. And that tends to get lost in the works. And then you start to get burnt out and tired from that piece.
Yeah.
And so I'd say having those upfront conversations, making sure that you're aligned and that you've actually met with this person to figure out their goals and how you're going to help them before spinning your wheels. That's the most important piece.
Now, for folks who are, let's say, looking at a high rehab, things that are going to require more intensive work, foundation, let's say, for instance, plumbing issues, um, and they may be newer. Do you tend to advise folks against that if it's one of their first flips or one of their first rehabs, or would you say, look, this is a big undertaking, and if you're going to do this, you have to be aware that this is the scope of what could or could not go wrong, right?
I think it's more that second piece, making them aware of the undertaking. And typically, if it's a brand new investor and they're like, I want to get into a flip, we're asking questions as to why. And if they live here, why not go after like a house hack or something, right? Why not go after something where you can go and learn how to invest with training wheels versus a flip where you're on a motorcycle, no helmet in the middle of the highway, right?
Yeah.
So that's the first piece. The other piece is this is why you work with investor friendly realtors. We are out in the field doing this personally. And so we open up our whole Rolodex of vendors and contractors to get things done. And now it's up to you to reach out to them and have that conversation, but we can help guide that process and give you at least some high level pricing. Hey, this is typically what it should cost to get this type of rehab done. That being said, I'd over budget X%. And hey, I'd structure my contract this way to make sure you're not giving up too much money up front and that the person is properly incentivized to get the work done.
If someone was coming to you saying, I want to do, let's say, a short-term rental, they don't have any prior experience in STRs, would you be able to guide them as far as, hey, here's the person that I use for design. This is maybe the types of deals that I would be looking at. Are you able to provide feedback for them that may help them if they're newer, or is it more of, hey, I can find the property for you, but you need to go handle the design and so forth?
No, absolutely. It's a full service. So when you talk about handing them the designer, handing them the handyman, the contractors, the cleaners, the whole system, like, hey, this is how we set up ours. This is the automations. That's the value of an investor friendly realtor, a true investor friendly realtor. Because when you look at all the other realtors, anybody can open a door. Anybody can, once you teach them, run numbers on a property and then get that thing over to you and put an offer. The piece comes with everything else, right? The fact that I'm investing constantly means that I personally vetted a lot of these individuals and used them on my own projects. And I know their strengths and weaknesses. Hey, this contractor's got to come in a little bit less, but my goodness, you're going to have to chase them around because they're going to take on a whole bunch of business and forget about yours unless you structure the money this way. Hey, this person's going to cost more, but they're going to do an excellent job. You don't really got to oversee that person. Hey, this designer is going to cost X, but my goodness, you're not going to have to do anything, right? You're going to literally let this person come in and do it from the ground up. And so that's the piece. It's the contacts and connections that we have that'll help you be successful.
We are coming up on time here, Niyi. Where can folks go if they are in the Atlanta area? They're looking at deals. They'd like to reach out to you or your team. How can folks get in contact with you?
Come on now. And it's not just the Atlanta area. We cover all of Georgia as well as Florida. I have a team of 10 agents, and you can go to ekabohome.com. That is EKABO home.com. Or you can check us out on Instagram at ekabohome, same spelling. We'd be happy to connect with you and help, or even just have a discussion on your real estate investing goals.
Niyi, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you, Dylan. I appreciate you, man.
Thanks for joining us for today's show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing on your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. You can also check out the show's notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and even how to work with me directly one-on-one. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. See you on the next show.